There comes a moment in every soul's music journey when life whispers, "Prepare yourself. Everything is about to change." That whisper is not a warning. It's a call, a divine reminder, music, that the world you see is not fixed. It bends. Music. It moves. It reshapes itself according to the pattern of your inner conviction. You've prayed. Music. You've waited. You've wondered when your breakthrough would arrive. But hear this truth. The breakthrough doesn't come to you. It comes through you. Lear's throat. Every image you've held in your imagination, every feeling of fulfillment you've dared to touch in silence. It's not fantasy. Music. It's creation. The invisible world of thought is where the visible world begins. You don't wait for change. Music, you embody it. You don't hope for transformation. You become it. Your task is simple. Assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, and music, see yourself already there, not as a dream, but as a memory you're reliving. Music, the moment you feel it real, life begins to rearrange itself to mirror that state. Stop looking for signs. You are the sign. Stop waiting for permission. You are the authority. Stop wondering when it will happen. It is happening now. Every delay you perceive is only your mind's resistance to what's already done in the unseen. The instant you surrender the old self, the one bound by limitation and fear, music, the new reality rushes in. To be ready to receive is to live as though you've already received. It is to wake up grateful, to walk in confidence, music, to speak with certainty, not because you see the evidence, but because you know the truth. The universe does not respond to need, it responds to belief. And your belief, when felt deeply and consistently, is law. So today, music, make a sacred decision. I am no longer waiting for my new life. I am living it now. Feel that truth in your heart. Carry it in your silence and watch quietly, effortlessly as life unfolds to match the frequency of your conviction. Music. Your life is about to change forever. Be ready, not by doing more, but by being more. Be the vibration of what you desire. Be the living proof that faith is power, because the moment you accept it, the moment you feel it real, the change is already done. Life never truly changes from the outside first. What you see around you, the people, the events, the so-called coincidences are only reflections of what's happening within you. Most people spend their lives chasing external change, believing that once the job appears, once the relationship improves, once the money arrives, they will finally feel complete. But that's not how transformation works. The outer world is not the cause, it is the effect. Real change begins when your inner world begins to move. Everything you experience is an echo of your inner assumptions, your music, beliefs, and the feelings you've come to accept as truth. If you wake up believing that life is a struggle, music, life will mirror that back to you. You will meet resistance, delays, and obstacles that seem to confirm that belief. But the moment you change your inner state, music, when you begin to feel that life supports you, that everything is working in your favor, the reflection shifts. You start encountering opportunities where before there were closed doors. People begin to show up to help you. Solutions appear effortlessly. Music, nothing around you has truly changed. You have changed and the world has followed your lead. This is the great secret of creation. The world does not respond to effort, it responds to vibration. You cannot fight against circumstances to make them change. You must first assume a new feeling within yourself. The state you occupy internally becomes the magnet that draws experiences of a similar nature. The one who feels poor, even with money in hand, will continue to find loss. The one who feels wealthy, even without visible evidence, will eventually attract abundance. Whatever feels you feel, the invisible always precedes the visible. So when you say you want your life to change, music, understand what you are truly asking for. You are asking for an inner renewal, for a shift in consciousness. Music. This doesn't come from reading more books, working harder, or forcing results. It comes from quiet moments of recognition, from daring to feel something different even when nothing outside gives you reason to. It is an act of faith, a surrender to the unseen truth, music, that your imagination creates reality. If you can hold the feeling of peace in the midst of chaos, peace will become your new normal. If you can see yourself as blessed, even when the world calls you broken, life will reorganize itself to confirm that blessing. The change, music. begins in the silence of your mind, in the invisible realm of thought and emotion. That's where the real work happens, where your future is formed before your eyes ever see it. So stop waiting for the world to shift before you do. The outer world is your mirror, not your master. Music. When you decide to inhabit a new state of being, to think, feel, and act as the person you wish to become, the world has no choice but to reflect that decision. The power has always been within you. The moment you claim it, music, your reality begins to change. Not tomorrow, not someday, now. You are not a victim of circumstance. Music, you are the creator of it. The life you live at this very moment is a mirror reflecting what you have believed, assumed, and accepted as true. Music, about yourself and the world. Everything unfolding around you. Every relationship, opportunity, challenge, and success is an outpicturing of your inner state. Music. It is not the world that determines who you are. It is who you are within music. Music that determines the world you experience. When you truly grasp this, you move from being a passive observer to a conscious creator. The mistake most people make is believing that life happens to them, that they are at the mercy of fate, luck, or the choices of others. They wait for the world to change before they can feel happy, safe, or powerful. But the truth is reversed. The world is a projection of your inner convictions, your assumptions. Those deep music, often unnoticed beliefs shape the events of your life with perfect precision. When you assume you are unloved, music, you'll find evidence of rejection. When you assume life is difficult, music, you'll meet constant struggle. But when you assume that you are favored, music, guided and supported, life rearranges itself to prove that assumption, music, true. This understanding is not about blame. It is about power. To know you are the cause means you hold the creative authority of your experience. You can change your outer world by changing your inner dialogue. The moment you begin to think differently about yourself, life begins to reorganize to reflect that new image. You cannot experience what you have not first conceived within. Music, the entire universe is obedient to the feeling of reality that you sustain in consciousness. Think of your mind as a garden. Whatever you plant will grow. If you sow seeds of fear, worry, and lack, you cannot expect to harvest peace, confidence, or abundance. Yet most people plant weeds with their thoughts and wonder why their lives are overrun with struggle. The gardener, who understands this law, doesn't music fight the weeds. He simply plants new seeds. In the same way, when you understand that you are the cause, music, you stop fighting your outer circumstances. You begin cultivating new inner beliefs. You stop asking, why is this happening to me, and start asking what within me has created this and how can I transform it. Music. Once you take ownership of your creative power, you become free. You no longer depend on others to validate you. You no longer wait for opportunities. Music. You attract them. You no longer react to the world. You command it through the authority of your inner state. The world cannot resist a person who knows their own creative power because that person is aligned with the same energy that created everything. So take a moment to look around at your life, not with judgment, but with music, awareness. See it for what it is, a reflection of the assumptions you have entertained. Then dare to assume something greater. Dare to believe that you are already the person you wish to become. The moment you accept that truth, the mirror of your world will begin to change. You are not the effect of life. You are its cause. To live in the end means to occupy within your imagination and emotions the state of already having what you desire. It is not about hoping, music, wishing, or waiting for something to happen. It is about knowing that it has already happened in the unseen realm of consciousness. Everything you could ever want already exists in potential form, music, waiting for you to claim it through feeling. The feeling of the wish fulfilled is the bridge between the invisible and the visible, between thought and manifestation. Most people live in the state of wanting. They think constantly about what they lack, about how far away their dream seems, or how impossible it feels. But to live in desire is to remain separated from its fulfillment. Music. Wanting something acknowledges its absence. The true key is to shift your awareness, music, from wanting to having. When you begin to feel the joy, gratitude, and satisfaction of already being who you wish to be, or already possessing what you wish to have, you activate the law of assumption, the creative power that, music, shapes reality according to your inner feeling. This inner shift doesn't require external proof. In fact, it often happens long before any physical evidence appears. When you live in the end, you no longer look to the outer world to confirm your new state. Music. You rest in the certainty that what you've imagined is already real. You understand that the outer world is simply delayed reflection. You may not yet see the results with your eyes, but you feel them as true. And that feeling is what sets creation in motion. Imagine a person who desires abundance. They could either continue to dwell in thoughts of lack, constantly checking their bank account, worrying about bills, and affirming that they don't have enough, or they could assume the inner state of someone who is already prosperous. The prosperous person doesn't worry about money. Music. They feel secure, generous, and grateful. The moment you adopt those feelings sincerely, you shift timelines. Music begins to mirror your new inner reality. Unexpected opportunities appear, ideas flow, and synchronicities align. Living in the end requires discipline of mind. It means refusing to be swayed by appearances that contradict your desire. It means holding faith in the unseen until music, becomes seen. You do not force the outer world to change. You become the version of yourself for whom the desire is already fulfilled. This version of you thinks differently, feels differently, and acts differently. Not out of pretense, but out of truth. When you live from the end, you are no longer chasing your dream. You are embodying it. You walk, speak, and breathe as though it's already done. You express gratitude for something your senses can't yet perceive because you understand that consciousness is the only reality. And once you've claimed it within, it must appear without. The feeling of the wish fulfilled is not fantasy, it is the seed of transformation. Music. Plant it deeply in the soil of your imagination. Nurture it with faith and gratitude, and life will unfold in divine timing to reveal what has already been completed within you. The end is not a place you reach, it's a state you choose to live in. Now, detachment is one of the highest expressions of faith. It is the quiet confidence that what you have imagined and claimed within yourself must come to pass, even if you have no idea how or when it will happen. Most people delay their manifestations not because they lack desire, music, but because they cling to the process. They try to control every detail, question every delay, and doubt every silence. But the act of music creation is not one of struggle. It is one of surrender. You cannot receive what you are still grasping for. True power comes from music, letting go. To detach is not to stop caring about your desire. It is to stop worrying about it. Music. It is to rest in the knowing that it is already done in the unseen. When you release your attachment to outcomes, you declare that you trust the intelligence of the universe more than your limited understanding. You recognize that the same power that moves the stars and keeps your heart beating knows exactly how to orchestrate your fulfillment. You don't need to figure out the details. Music. Your only task is to remain faithful to the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Music. The need to control how and when arises from fear. The fear that if you don't interfere, nothing will happen. But fear is the opposite of faith. The more you try to force creation, the more you signal to the universe that you do not believe it is already yours. The moment you let go of the struggle, the energy that was once trapped in anxiety becomes available for manifestation. What you release emotionally, life returns physically. Detachment is not passivity. Music. It is inner stillness. It means you shifted from striving to allowing. Music. You continue to act in the world, but now from inspiration, not desperation. You follow the intuitive nudges that arise naturally. Music, instead of forcing action out of fear or impatience. When you detach, you no longer chase what you desire. You magnetize it. Music. You no longer seek signs. You become the sign. You walk with quiet assurance, knowing that what belongs to you cannot be taken, and what is not meant for you will quietly fade away. Think of a seed planted in the ground. Once you bury it, you don't dig it up every day to check if it's growing. You trust the process. You water it, you nurture it, and you allow nature to do the rest. That is what detachment looks like in consciousness. Once you have imagined your desire, felt it real, and claimed it as yours. Music, your job is complete. The rest is divine timing. To detach is to free yourself from anxiety and to step into the flow of creation. Music, it is a declaration that your faith is stronger than your doubt. When you live in that knowing, you find peace even before the manifestation appears, and in that peace, everything begins to unfold effortlessly. The paradox is simple. When you stop needing it, it comes. Music. When you release control, you gain power. When you trust completely, the universe rushes to meet you. What is truly yours cannot be. Music. Mist. Preparation is not about waiting. It is about aligning. Music. When you truly believe that something you've desired is already yours in spirit, music, your entire being begins to shift into harmony with that music reality. You prepare not because you doubt, but because you know. You make space for what you've asked for. You act in accordance with it, and you think and feel as the person who already has it. That inner readiness is what opens the door to manifestation. It is the invisible signal that tells the universe, I am ready to receive. Faith is not a passive state of hope. It is active alignment. Many people say they believe music, but their actions, words, and emotions contradict their belief. They pray for abundance yet speak of lack. Music. Imagine success but behave as though failure is inevitable. True faith is preparation. Clears throat. It is the willingness to live music, as if your desire were already fulfilled. When you know a guest is coming, you set the table. You don't wait for them to arrive before preparing the meal. Music. Likewise, when you know your manifestation is on its way, you begin to behave as though it is already here. Being ready to receive is a matter of vibration. Your thoughts and emotions emit a frequency that draws matching experiences into your life. If you hold the vibration of doubt or impatience, you block what is already yours. But when you prepare emotionally, mentally, spiritually, you lift yourself into the frequency of fulfillment, you stop pleading with life and start cooperating with it. You move from asking to allowing. Preparation also means letting go of what no longer fits the new version of yourself. To receive the new, you must release the old. You cannot step into abundance while clinging to the identity of scarcity. You cannot experience love while holding on to stories of rejection. Aligning your mind, emotions, and actions, music means thinking, feeling, and behaving in ways that match the state you've already claimed in spirit. That is faith in motion. You might not yet see the physical evidence of what you've imagined, but your preparation becomes the proof of your belief. When you act as if your desire is already real, you send a message to the subconscious mind that it is real. The subconscious in turn begins to rearrange circumstances to match that inner conviction. Life responds to readiness. Imagine someone who has prayed for a new opportunity. Instead of waiting for it to fall into their lap, they begin preparing. They polish their skills, refine their mindset, and organize their life to accommodate success. This preparation is not forced. Music flows naturally from belief. They don't prepare because they hope it might happen. Music, they prepare because they know it will. That knowing becomes magnetic. Faith is preparation without proof. It is the quiet assurance that what you've claimed in music spirit must reveal itself in form. Every time you align your thoughts with certainty, your emotions with gratitude, and your actions with confidence, you declare that you are ready. Music. And when readiness meets divine timing, manifestation is inevitable. Change does not take time. Music. It takes acceptance. The instant you accept a new reality within yourself, everything around you begins to reorganize to match that acceptance. The universe is not waiting for the clock to move. It is waiting for your consciousness to move. Time is only the measure of how long it takes you to believe. The transformation you seek is not delayed by circumstance. It is delayed, music, by resistance. The moment you surrender that resistance and fully accept your desire as already accomplished, the shift happens silently, immediately, and inevitably. Most people believe that change is a gradual process that they must struggle, wait, or prove themselves worthy before their lives can improve. But that is only an illusion created by the mind. The truth is that your outer world changes, music, at the speed of your inner conviction. The instant you accept something as real within, you have planted the seed of that reality, and it begins unfolding naturally in your experience. The delay you perceive is not in the creation, it is in your willingness to accept it, music, as done. Acceptance is the act of faith that bridges imagination and experience. Music, it is more than just saying the words. It is feeling the truth of your desire in your body, music in your emotions, in your silence. When you accept something completely, doubt has no room to breathe. You stop questioning if it will happen and begin living from the awareness, music, that it already has. You walk differently. You think different. You speak with a quiet authority that life cannot ignore. The moment you shift your state of being, the world must conform. Music. It has no choice because the outer is always a mirror of the inner. When you change your self-concept, music, When you decide that you are now abundant, loved, healthy, or free, the universe instantly begins to reorganize itself to reflect that truth. New ideas come to mind. Unexpected doors open. People appear just the right moment. These are not coincidences. Music. They are the natural movements of reality aligning with your new assumption. Music. Music. This is why transformation often feels sudden. One day everything seems the same and the next life unfolds in ways you could never, have planned. But in truth, the shift did not happen that day. It happened the moment you accepted it as real. The physical world simply caught up with the spiritual decision you made within yourself. The power to change anything lies not in effort, but in acceptance. The harder you try to make something happen, the more you affirm that it hasn't yet happened. But when you accept your desire as a present fact, the struggle ends. Acceptance is not pretending, it is realizing. It is recognizing that all realities already exist, and by choosing one with conviction, you bring it into view. Music. So stop waiting for signs, timing, or proof. Stop believing that you need more time to become who you already are. The shift happens the moment you accept it. Right now, in this very instant, you have the power to step into a completely different version of yourself. Music. Accept it as true and watch how quickly life transforms to meet your new state of being. Music. The truth is simple yet profound. Your life changes the moment you do. Every transformation, music, every breakthrough, every answered prayer begins within you. You are not waiting for the universe to bless you. Music. The universe is waiting for you to believe. When you shift your inner state, when you feel the wish fulfilled, music, detach from control, prepared with faith, and accept the new reality is already done. The outer world has no choice but to follow. Music. You were never meant to live in limitation or fear. You were meant to create, to expand, to experience the fullness of who you are. The power that shapes worlds is the same power that breathes within you. Trust it, live from it, embody it. Your life is about to change forever. Not because something outside of you is arriving, but because something within you is awakening. Music. Be ready to receive it. Not by chasing music, but by becoming. The future you desire is already yours. All that remains is your acceptance of it. Thank you for listening. Stay faithful, stay open. Music. And remember, the miracle begins the moment you believe. It's already done. There comes a moment when life whispers softly at first that everything you've prayed for, dreamed about, and imagined, music, is drawing near. That moment is now. Music. If you are hearing these words, it is not by accident. Something deep within you has been preparing for this revelation. Music. You are about to win everything. But to win everything doesn't mean you are about to gain what you lack. It means you are about to remember who you truly are. The power you've been searching for outside has been quietly residing within you all along. Everything begins in imagination. Before any victory appears in the outer world, it is already complete in the inner one. The image you've held, the success, music, you've seen behind closed eyes is not fantasy. Music, it's a preview. You are simply walking toward what is already yours. The world you see is the reflection of your inner state. When you lift your consciousness, your world must rise to meet it. When you declare yourself blessed, life, music, arranges itself to prove you right. When you assume the feeling of already having one, the universe begins to rearrange its pieces, music, in your favor. Get ready because once your inner conviction changes, the outer cannot remain the same. Relationships shift, opportunities appear. What once seemed impossible becomes ordinary. Music. This is the law of life. What you accept as true within yourself must express itself without. You cannot stop it. Music. It's as certain as sunrise. So prepare not through anxiety, music, but through certainty. Walk as the one who already has what you've prayed for. Speak with the calm of someone who knows the outcome. Feel the joy of completion before it arrives, for in truth it already has. You are not waiting for your victory. Your victory is waiting for you to recognize it. If you see this message today, music, take it as confirmation. The shift has begun. The doors that were once locked are opening. The timing is aligning. You are about to witness what happens when belief becomes reality. Stand tall. Give thanks. Expect miracles because this is not the beginning of the end. It's the beginning of your becoming. What you are seeing right now is not a coincidence. Nothing in your path has arrived by accident. Every sign, every message, every encounter carries meaning, a reflection of the inner movement taking place within you. When something in the outer world captures your attention with a strange sense of familiarity or divine timing, it is your deeper self whispering, "I am awakening." It's the unseen part of you, the spiritual reality that has always existed, finally breaking through the surface of your conscious experience. Music. Life communicates in symbols and feelings long before it delivers tangible results. The physical world is not the starting point of your experiences. Music, it is the echo. What you are noticing right now, the alignment, the message. Music, the synchronicity is evidence that your inner world is beginning to take form, that what was once invisible in thought and imagination is moving toward manifestation. The outer sign is simply the shadow of an inner cause. You've been thinking, feeling, and imagining your way into this very moment. Even when you didn't realize it, your thoughts were seeds, your emotions were the soil, and your assumptions were the sunlight that gave those seeds life. Now those inner seeds are breaking ground, pushing through the soil of time, revealing the first signs of what you've been cultivating within. Music. You are witnessing proof that your consciousness creates reality. Most people see signs and dismiss them as coincidences, yet the awakened one recognizes them as confirmations. Music. They are not random, they are responses. Every time you raise your vibration, affirm your worth, or visualize your dream as already real, the universe responds by arranging a reflection to match it. That reflection may come as repeating numbers, a phrase you suddenly hear everywhere, music, a song that speaks directly to your heart, or even a video like this appearing at the perfect moment. The outer world is simply mirroring back your inner transformation. When you begin to see this music connection, you stop doubting and start trusting. You no longer look at the world as something separate or outside of you, music, but as a living mirror reflecting your state of being. The awakening to the sign, music, is an awakening to your own creative power. You realize that you are not a victim of chance, but the author of destiny. Everything happening around you carries your energetic signature. Music, your belief system, your mental image. So when the signs appear, when you feel that deep resonance that says, "This message is for me," don't dismiss it. Pause. Music, feel it. Let gratitude rise within you. For this is the universe confirming, music, that you are in harmony with your desire. The outer evidence means the inner shift has already occurred. You are no longer trying to make something happen. You are allowing what has already been created in consciousness to unfold in time. The signs you see are the footprints of your future. They are the music bridge between imagination and reality. And when you recognize them for what they are, you align yourself fully with the flow of creation. The sign is not the end. It's music, the beginning of realization. It is your soul saying, "Keep going." Your manifestation is already on its way. Everything that exists in your world first began as an unseen image, music, a vision, an idea, a quiet knowing held within the mind. Imagination is not a mere escape from reality. It is the workshop of creation itself. Music, long before anything becomes visible to the eyes, it must first be conceived in the unseen realm of consciousness. Every building, every invention, every success story began as an image that existed only in someone's imagination. Music. The outer world is simply the shadow of the inner one. What you hold within will, in time, take shape without. The unseen image you've been nurturing within you, the dream, the desire. Music. The version of yourself that feels more like home than your current life is not fantasy. Music. It is the seed of reality pressing forward into expression. When you imagine something with feeling, you give it substance, you breathe life into it. The universe does not distinguish between what is vividly imagined and what is physically real. It responds to the vibration of your inner state. This is music, why imagination is the foundation of all manifestation. Music. It is the blueprint from which the structure of your reality is. Music, built. To imagine is to create a new state of being. The moment you see yourself living your dream in the theater of your mind, and you feel it as though it were already real, you shift your identity. Music. You are no longer someone hoping to receive. You become someone who already possesses, and life which mirrors your inner assumptions rearranges itself to reflect that new identity back to you. Everything begins and ends in consciousness. Music. Many people wait for outer evidence before they believe, but the awakened soul knows the opposite is true. Belief brings evidence. You do not wait for the world to show you signs. You create them through sustained music, imagination, clears throat. The unseen must always precede the seen. Just as a seed must exist before the tree can grow, your imagined reality must exist, music, before it can manifest in physical form. You may not see results immediately, but that does not mean nothing is happening. Just as a seed works silently beneath the soil before breaking through, music, your imagined life, is forming beneath the surface of your experience. Every time you return to that inner vision with conviction, music, you are watering it with faith. Every time you feel it is real, you accelerate its unfolding. Understand this, your imagination is the creative power of the universe, music individualized in you. It is not wishful thinking, it is divine intention. When you imagine with love, clarity, and certainty, the world must conform to your vision. The unseen image you've been holding is not waiting for permission. It is already pressing forward into visibility. The people, opportunities, and circumstances, music, that match your inner image, are being drawn toward you even now. So, protect your imagination. Guard it as sacred. Live more in the unseen than in the music scene. For the unseen governs the scene, and when you fully accepted what you imagine within music will inevitably appear without, you begin to live from the truth that music imagination does not follow reality. It creates it. Feeling is the bridge between the invisible and the visible, between imagination and reality. Music, it is the secret language to which your inner world communicates with the universe. Thought alone is not enough to bring your desires into form. Music, it is feeling the emotional acceptance of your desire as already fulfilled that activates creation. The moment you feel the end result as real, the process of manifestation, music, begins. You can think endlessly about your dream, repeat affirmations, visualize pictures, but until you feel it, nothing moves. Feeling is the energy that gives life to imagination. It is the proof to your subconscious mind that what you desire is already yours. The universe doesn't respond to your words. Music, it responds to your vibration. That vibration is determined not by what you say or think, music, but by what you feel to be true. When your feeling and your desire become one, the manifestation cannot be stopped. This is why pretending or hoping does not create. Music, hope implies separation. It says, I don't yet have it, music. But feeling as though it is already done unites you with the end result. Music, when you can sit quietly, close your eyes and feel the emotions you would experience if your dream were already real. Music, relief, gratitude, joy, confidence. You impress that reality upon the deeper layers of your mind. Once impressed, it begins to externalize through people, events, and opportunities that match your inner state. You don't have to force anything to happen. Music. Feeling does not require strain or effort. It is an act of surrender, allowing yourself to believe even for a few moments that it's already done. When you feel from the end, you no longer chase or struggle. You live in the calm knowing that the invisible has already taken care of the visible. Life becomes a mirror reflecting the emotions you consistently occupy. Feeling is not something to be fabricated artificially. It is cultivated through faith, through the quiet conviction that imagination creates reality. If you can convince your heart before you see it with your music eyes, the world will soon catch up. Think of how powerful emotion is. A single feeling of fear can cause the body to tremble, while a single feeling of love can heal wounds. Now imagine what happens when you sustain a feeling of already having your desire. Your entire reality must, music, bend to match it. When you feel abundance, you attract abundance. When you feel loved, love finds you. When you feel peace, your environment becomes still. Music, you cannot escape the world you feel within because the outer world is its reflection. This is why the greatest secret of creation is to dwell emotionally in the result you wish to experience. So stop waiting for proof before you feel good. Feel good first. That's how proof arrives. Let your emotions be the gateway to your new reality. Feel it deeply, consistently, and with gratitude, and the unseen will become seen. The moment you truly feel it, the manifestation is already on its way. Life is not happening to you. It is happening through you. Everything you experience, every event that unfolds, music, every person you meet is a mirror reflecting the state of your own consciousness, music. You are not a passive observer placed in a random world. You are the creative center from which your entire reality flows. The power you seek outside has always been within, quietly shaping your world according to your inner assumptions, feelings, and beliefs. When you understand that you are the source, you stop blaming circumstances, people, or luck for what happens in your life. Music. You begin to recognize that everything appearing around you is a perfect reflection of what is happening within you. Music. The thoughts you dwell on, the emotions you nurture, the stories you repeat. These are the blueprints, music, from which your life is built. The universe is not separate from you. It is a living mirror that responds with precision to the energy you emit. If you feel love, life shows you love. If you feel fear, music, life gives you reasons to fear. It is not personal or cruel. It is law. The outer world is like a screen projecting the film of your inner state. Change the film within, and the projection must change. This is why trying to fix things externally without transforming internally never works. You may alter the scenery for a moment, but the pattern will repeat until your inner vibration shifts. Real power begins when you take full responsibility for your inner world. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? Music, and begin to ask, what is this revealing about me? That question transforms everything because it turns your focus inward. Music, where the true cause resides. When you change the way you feel and perceive music, you change the experiences that life must deliver. You are not at the mercy of fate, you are the maker of it. Life listens to the tone of your energy, not the noise of your words. It responds to the frequency of your state of being, not the surface of your desires. When you embody peace, you attract harmony. When you live from gratitude, you draw more to be thankful for. When you radiate confidence, doors open effortlessly. The universe does not choose favorites. It simply mirrors whatever you consistently express. Music. The shift from victim to creator is the most powerful transformation a person can experience. Once you realize that nothing can enter your world unless it finds a place within you, you gain mastery over your life. You no longer chase outcomes, you cultivate states of being. You learn to live from the inside out, not the outside in. Every time you center yourself in love, faith, music, and certainty, the world begins to reflect those qualities back to you. You are the cause, never the effect. Life is not testing you. It is echoing you. The moment you embrace this truth, you reclaim your power. You stop waiting for change. Music, you become it. Preparation for your blessings does not begin with action. It begins with belief. The world teaches us to prepare by doing, striving, and collecting evidence before we can feel ready. But true preparation happens within. You align yourself with your desired outcome, not by struggling to make it happen, but by assuming it is already yours. Belief is the soil in which every blessing grows. Music. When your mind and heart are aligned with what you desire, the path to it opens naturally. To believe is to live from the end. Music. To see yourself already in possession of what you seek. When you believe something fully, you begin to act, think, and feel in harmony with it. You no longer question if it will come. You know it must. The inner conviction becomes so real that the outer world has no choice but to mirror it. Music, the unseen, becomes seen through the power of unwavering belief. Most people prepare for their dreams by waiting for signs or opportunities before they feel ready. Music, but readiness is not something that arrives from the outside. It is something you declare within yourself. When you believe that your blessing is already unfolding, music, your entire vibration changes. You start walking differently, speaking differently, music, expecting differently. That inner shift is what rearranges your external reality. The universe moves in response to certainty, not doubt. Think of how a person prepares for a guest they know is coming. They clean the house, set the table, and make music, space. Not because they see the guest yet, but because they believe the visit is certain. That is how belief works. You prepare inwardly because you know your desire is on its way. You don't beg for proof. You live as if it's already done. This attitude of faith, music, creates the magnetic field that attracts everything required for its fulfillment. When you live from belief, your actions flow naturally. You don't force them. Music, they emerge effortlessly from your state of knowing. You might be inspired to make a call, start a project, or change your routine, not out of desperation, but out of alignment. Right action always follows right belief. If you take action from fear or lack, you reinforce separation. But when you act from belief, music, your actions carry power, purpose, and momentum. Belief is preparation in its purest form. It is the invisible readiness that tells the music universe, I am available for my blessing. You don't need to see it to know it's coming. You only need to feel it. Music, the moment you believe, you shift timelines. You step out of waiting and into receiving. Life can only deliver what your faith makes room for. So stop waiting for the right time. The right time begins when you believe. Music, prepare inwardly. Feel the joy, gratitude, and calm of already having what you desire. As you align your inner state with that feeling, everything required for your blessing, music begins to arrange itself perfectly. The outer preparation will follow effortlessly because belief has already built the foundation. Music. There comes a moment when inner acceptance becomes stronger than outer appearance. Music. When you no longer doubt, question, or strive because something within you knows the outcome is already secured, that inner knowing is the signal that begins the inevitable unfolding. Music. Once you've accepted the victory within, life has no choice but to mirror it without. The universe operates by law, not chance. It reflects the state of your consciousness with perfect precision. So the unfolding begins the moment you stop asking if it will happen and start resting in the feeling that it already has. Music, you may not see evidence immediately, but the process has already begun. Just as a seed once planted must push through the soil to reveal the tree, your inner acceptance must express itself. Music, through time and circumstance. You don't need to force it, chase it, or control it. Music, you only need to remain faithful to the feeling of fulfillment. The rest, music, unfolds naturally. When you accept victory within, you shift your entire vibration. You move from hoping to knowing, from trying to being. Music. This change is subtle but powerful, and it alters the trajectory of your entire reality. People begin to respond to you differently. Doors that were once closed begin to open. Coincidences and opportunities align themselves in ways you could never have orchestrated. Music. These are not miracles in the sense of luck. They are the natural consequences of your inner transformation. The outer world is like a mirror that has no choice but to reflect what stands before it. If you hold an image of peace, music, the reflection must be peaceful. If, clears throat, you embody abundance, life cannot help but display abundance. When you truly accept victory within, there is no longer any energy of striving or lack. You begin to carry yourself as someone who already has what they once longed for, and that confidence radiates through every action, thought, and word. The world then rearranges itself to confirm your assumption. Many people sabotage their unfolding by constantly checking for results. They plant the seed and then dig it up to see if it's growing. But the wise know that faith is patient. Music. You don't need to see the process to know it's happening. The moment you have felt the wish fulfilled, the outcome becomes inevitable. Life is compelled to reflect what you have already accepted as true within yourself. Music. The unfolding is not your responsibility. Your alignment is. You are not the doer but the receiver of your own consciousness. When you accept that truth, music, you stop interfering with the process. You let life flow through you instead of trying to control it. Everything that appears afterward, every event, music, every delay, every coincidence is part of that unfolding. Music, moving you steadily toward the full manifestation of what you have already claimed in spirit. So rest in the assurance that your inner victory has sealed the outer result. There is no struggle left, no need to question or chase. What you have accepted within must appear without. It is law, and law cannot fail. The unseen is already organizing itself into form, and soon you will stand face to face with the reflection of what your soul, music, has always known. The victory was yours from the beginning. Everything you've heard leads to one timeless truth. Your world is your reflection. What you imagine, what you feel, what you believe, music, and what you accept within yourself becomes the reality you walk through. You are not waiting for change. You are creating it with every inner assumption you hold. When you awaken to the signs, when you use imagination as the blueprint, music, when you feel the end as real, when you remember that you are the source, when you prepare through belief, and when you rest in the inevitability of your victory, nothing, music, can stop what's already yours from unfolding. This is your moment of recognition that everything you've dreamed of is not ahead of you but already within you. The unseen forces are aligning, the path is clearing, and your victory is inevitable. You don't need to chase it. You only need to become it. The power that creates worlds lives within you. Music, waiting only for your belief to give it form. Get ready, because your time has come. The life you once imagined is now calling you to step into music, it fully. You are about to witness the beauty of creation responding to your faith. Thank you for listening, and remember, you are never waiting to win. You've already won. Listen closely. Music. This video didn't appear by accident. You were led here. Something deep within you called this moment into being. Music. You may think you clicked this at random, but your higher self knew exactly where to take you. Music. This is your confirmation. Your season of delay is over. The long nights, the waiting, the wondering if it would ever happen, all of it was preparation. You weren't being denied, you were being aligned. The truth, music is simple. You've never been chasing your dreams. Your dreams have been chasing music, you. They've been circling your life, waiting for you to rise to the level of their reality. And now you have. You are not the same person you were yesterday. The moment you began to believe something more was possible, music, everything began to shift. The outer world may still look the same, but beneath the surface, music, everything is rearranging itself in your favor. The universe only mirrors what you assume to be true. So the question isn't when will I win? The real question is, can I feel myself, music, as the one who has already won? Because once you do, it's done. Creation is finished. The victory already exists. Music, you don't chase it. You awaken to it. Right now you are standing at the doorway of your next level. This video found you to remind you, music, your time to win everything is here. Not next month, not next year, not someday. Now the feeling you've been searching for, peace, music, success, love, wealth, music. It's not coming to you. It's coming through you. You've shifted from hoping to knowing, from trying to being. Feel the reality of your dream right now. Don't analyze it. Embody it. Breathe as the person who already has it. Walk as the one who already made it. Speak as the one who already won. Music. When you live from that truth, the world bends to meet music, you. People, opportunities, and resources begin to move in ways that seem impossible, but they were always possible. Music, we're waiting for your alignment. So today, declare it. This music is my time. This is my season. Everything I've desired is now unfolding before me. Stay faithful to that inner knowing, not the noise of the outer world. Music, the old story is collapsing. The new one has begun. This video didn't just find music you, it answered you. And now your time to win everything, music, is here. You were led here by divine intention. Music. There are no coincidences in a universe that operates by perfect law. Every step, every encounter, every whisper of inspiration has been quietly guiding you to this very moment. You didn't stumble upon this message by accident. Something far greater than your conscious mind orchestrated this music meeting. The unseen hand of your higher self brought you here because you asked for a sign and now the answer has arrived. Music. You may not remember the exact moment you sent out the request. Perhaps it was a prayer whispered in music frustration, a silent hope during a sleepless night, or a quiet thought like there must be more to life than this. Music. That single thought sent out a vibration into the universe. And like a magnetic call, it began pulling everything needed to respond. That's why you're here. This video, this message, this energy, it's not just information. Music, reflection of your own inner desire echoing back to you from the field of creation. Life is not random. The patterns, the synchronicities, music, the way things just happen are all expressions of divine order. Music, you are not wandering aimlessly. You are being guided with precision. Every delay, every detour, even the moments that felt like rejection, they were redirections. Music. The higher part of you knew exactly where you needed to be, even when your human mind couldn't understand it. Music. And now you're standing at the threshold of realization. You have never been alone in your journey. Music. Like disaster without death, there is realization. You have never been alone in your journey. The truth. Music is reality responds to the energy you hold. When you begin to long for something deeply, music, peace, purpose, abundance, love, that longing is not proof of its absence. It's proof that it already exists within you, waiting to be recognized. Desire is divine guidance in disguise. It's how your soul reminds you of what's possible. And when that desire grows strong enough, music, it magnetizes the experiences that awaken you to it. That's what's happening. Now, this message is not new information, it's remembrance. Music, it's your own consciousness speaking back to you saying, yes, you were right to believe. Yes, music, it's time. The same intelligence that turns seeds into forests and stars into galaxies. Music is the same intelligence that led you here. It knows what you need and when you're ready to receive it. Music. So, trust that. Trust that the timing is perfect, that every experience has been preparation for this moment. You were never behind, never forgotten, never overlooked. Everything has unfolded exactly as it was meant to. Music. And right now, you're standing in divine alignment with what you've been asking for. So breathe. Let the truth sink in. Music. You are being guided. You always have been. The signs you've been seeking are not somewhere out there. They're within you, revealing themselves through every coincidence, every inspired thought, every message like this one. You were led here for a reason, and that reason is simple. It's time. Time to awaken. Time to awaken. Time to remember. Time to receive everything you were meant for. Everything begins in imagination. Before anything can appear in the outer world, it must first be conceived within the inner world of thought and feeling. Music. Every invention, every success story, every miracle that has ever unfolded began music as an invisible image in someone's mind. The imagination is not a place of fantasy. Music. It is the workshop of reality. It is where all creation begins, music, and where all transformation takes root. The life you long for already exists, not somewhere far away, but in a higher dimension of awareness. Music. You do not need to create it from nothing because it is already complete in the unseen. What you call your future is simply a version of yourself that already lives in the fullness of that desire. The process is not about making it happen, but about aligning your consciousness with that version of yourself, music, who already has it. You do this not by effort, but by feeling it real within. Feeling is the bridge between the invisible and the visible. Music. When you close your eyes and allow yourself to imagine the scene of your fulfilled desire, not as a distant dream, but as something happening now, you begin to impress that reality upon your subconscious mind. The subconscious, which governs all outer experience, music, does not question or analyze. It simply reflects whatever image is impressed upon it with conviction. This is why imagination is so powerful. It is the first act of creation, the blueprint that shapes the world. You see, most people wait for circumstances to change before they allow themselves to feel the joy, peace, or confidence of having what they want. But the truth is reversed. Music, you must feel it first. The outer world is only a mirror faithfully reflecting your inner state. When you feel abundance within, life begins to rearrange music itself to match that vibration. When you feel love within, it manifests in the faces and actions of others. You never receive what you want. You receive what you are. To imagine is to claim. When you imagined yourself living the life you desire, walking through your dream home, hearing words of congratulations, music, feeling the relief of your prayer answered, you begin to shift your identity. The imagination is not pretending, it is rehearsing reality. The more vividly you live in that state, the more natural it becomes. Music. And when it feels natural, the world around you must mirror it. That is low. So stop waiting for signs. Become the music sign. Stop hoping that your dreams will come. Step into them inwardly. Close your eyes and live there until it feels more real than the outer world. Because what you consistently feel, music, becomes what you consistently experience. The unseen is not empty. It is the realm where all things are already finished. Music. Your role is to awaken to it, to claim it as yours by feeling it real now. Everything you desire is waiting for your recognition. Imagination is the doorway and feeling is the key. You are the source of all power. The same energy that moves the stars and breathes life into every living thing moves through you right now. You are not a small being hoping for mercy from the universe. You are the universe, music, expressing itself as you. The power that created worlds is not somewhere outside deciding your fate. It resides within your consciousness, music, waiting for direction. Everything you call destiny is simply the echo of what you have assumed to be true about yourself. Music. Your assumptions are seeds planted in the fertile soil of reality. Music. Whatever you hold as true, whether consciously or unconsciously, music begins to take shape in the outer world. This is why two people can live in the same world yet experience music completely different realities. It's not the conditions that define their lives, it's their inner conviction about who they are and what they believe is possible. The world does not respond to your wishes, it responds to your certainty. It mirrors what you have dared to assume. Music, when you say I am, you are speaking the most powerful creative words in existence. Music, whatever follows I am, begins to form itself into experience. If you say I am unworthy, life echoes that belief in circumstances that confirm it. But when you begin to say, music, I am powerful, I am chosen, I am enough, the world rearranges itself to reflect that inner identity. You are the cause, music, never the effect. What you see outside is always a reflection of what you have accepted within. Many people spend their lives trying to change the mirror instead of the reflection. Music, they struggle with the outer world, unaware that the outer is only a shadow of the inner. When you shift your inner conviction, the shadow must change. Music, this is not wishful thinking, it is spiritual law. You cannot experience anything that contradicts the state of consciousness you occupy. That's why true transformation begins, music, in silence in the unseen realm of belief. You have been conditioned to think that power belongs to something outside you. Luck, music, fate, society, or circumstance. But power is not given, it is realized. The moment you stop seeing yourself as a victim of life and begin to see yourself as the creator of your experience, you awaken the infinite strength, music, that has been sleeping within you. It is not arrogance to know this truth. It is awakening. It is remembering who you truly are. The world is your mirror, not your master. Music. Music faithfully reflects your assumptions, your faith, and your self-concept. Music, if you want to see something different, believe something different, hold a new inner picture, assume the feeling of already being the person you want to be, and life will respond accordingly. Music, every result you desire is waiting behind one new assumption, one new acceptance of your own power. The moment you dare to claim it, destiny shifts. Because destiny is not written by chance, it is written by consciousness. And you always and forever are the author. You are already chosen. Music, long before you questioned your worth, long before you wondered whether you were good enough. Music, the answer was already yes. You have spent too much time waiting for permission, waiting for recognition, music, waiting for some external sign to confirm what has been true about you from the very beginning. The truth is that no one else has the authority to grant you what you already are. You do not need to be picked, you already are. The fact that you even desire something deeply, music, is proof that it is already yours in a higher sense. Otherwise, the desire would never have been born in you. Desire is not a sign of lack. It is a sign, music, of possession. It is your soul's way of showing you what has already been prepared. When you feel a longing for a certain life, relationship, or achievement, that longing is not a cruel tease. It is a glimpse of what already exists for you in the unseen, waiting for your acceptance. You cannot desire what does not belong to you. Your heart cannot crave what is not already part of your potential reality. Desire is not random. It is divine confirmation. Music. Yet so many people live their lives waiting to be discovered. They wait for someone to validate them to say, now you're ready. They stand on the sidelines, watching others step into their dreams, all while forgetting that no one else can choose for them. Music. The power to step forward has always been yours. You were chosen the moment you existed. The moment you were given the breath of life, everything after that is simply you remembering it. The fear of not being enough is the only barrier. It's the illusion that you must prove your worth before you can claim what is yours. But worth is not earned. It is inherent. You don't wait for the sun to earn its right to shine. It shines, music, because it is the sun. In the same way, you don't need to earn your destiny. Music, you step into it because you are already aligned with it. The longing you feel is a whisper from your higher self. Music, it's saying, come closer. Stop doubting. Step forward. When you honor that feeling instead of dismissing it, doors begin to, music, open. Opportunities appear. The right people show up. The circumstances align. It's not because the world suddenly decided to favor you, but because you decided to favor yourself. to believe you're already chosen. You no longer have to wait for an invitation. Life has already extended it. The moment you allow yourself to feel chosen, you begin to live chosen. Music. You speak differently, walk differently, expect differently, and the world reflects that back to you. Nothing outside you is withholding your destiny. Only your belief in your unworthiness can do that. Release it now. The longing you carry is music, the proof. You are not chasing what isn't yours. You are stepping into what isn't yours. You are stepping into what has always been waiting for you. You are already chosen. Feel it as done. That is the secret that separates those who wish from those who manifest. Hoping and wishing come from a place of lack. They imply that what you want is far music away, that it has yet to arrive. But feeling is different. Feeling is knowing. Music. It is standing inside the reality of your desire and claiming it is already accomplished. Music. When you feel something is done, the universe must align itself with that state, because creation responds not to your words but to your vibration. Music. Every outcome in life is drawn to the emotional state that matches it. When you feel poor, you attract lack. When you feel loved, you draw love. When you feel powerful, life echoes that power back to you. Music. This is not a matter of pretending or forcing positive thoughts. It is about embodying the inner experience of already being the person who has what you want. Music. You become the cause and reality becomes the mirror. To feel it is done is to move beyond the illusion of waiting. The waiting mind says it's coming one day, but the awakened mind says it's already mine. Music. You shift your energy from seeking to possessing. That shift changes everything. You no longer act from desperation or fear, but from calm confidence because you know it is already secured in the unseen. The unseen is not empty. Music. It is filled with every possibility that exists. When you feel it is done, you are claiming one of those possibilities as your own. The key is to go beyond words and into emotion. Don't just affirm it. Embody. Music. It. Close your eyes and feel what it would be like to live in that reality. Now, how would your body feel if your desire were already fulfilled? What peace, what joy, what gratitude would fill your heart? Let yourself experience that emotion fully until it becomes real to you. That inner experience is not imagination, it is creation. The subconscious does not distinguish between what is real and what is vividly felt. Once, music, you impress it with the feeling of fulfillment, it begins to arrange every detail of your life to match that state. Music. When doubts arise, don't fight them. Simply return to the feeling. Feel it again and again until it becomes natural. Music. The outer world will begin to catch up with your inner conviction, music, because the world has no choice but to reflect what you believe. It cannot resist a consciousness that knows what it wants is already done. This is the quiet confidence of creation, not hoping, not striving, not chasing, but resting in the truth that music, it's finished. You don't need to force or beg. You only need to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled and trust that everything else will fall into place. The world bends for the one who feels. So let go of the waiting, release the struggle and feel it as done. Music. Because the moment you do, it is done. Your winning season has begun. Life has turned in your favor. Music. Even if your outer circumstances have yet to fully reveal it, the tides that once seemed to move against you are now shifting, carrying you forward with ease and grace. Music. What once felt like resistance was never rejection. It was direction, preparation, and alignment. You have stepped into a new vibration, the vibration of victory. And everything around you is beginning to rearrange itself to match this new state of being. There was a time when you questioned if your breakthrough would ever come, when it felt like every effort ended in disappointment. Music, but those seasons were not punishment, they were refinement. You were being, music, strengthened, trained to hold the very blessings you were asking for. The foundation had to be built before the structure could rise, and now that structure is ready. The energy is shifted, the momentum is changed. Music. You are no longer fighting upstream, the current is carrying you. Victory is not something that suddenly appears. Music. It's a vibration you enter. It's a consciousness that says, I already have it. I already am it. When you live from that state, life cannot help but mirror it back to you. People will start to treat you differently. Opportunities will appear out of nowhere, and situations that once felt impossible will begin to flow effortlessly. Music, it's not luck, it's alignment. You have tuned yourself to the frequency of winning, music, and reality must obey that inner truth. To remain faithful to this vibration means not letting temporary appearances shake your conviction. Music, even when things look quiet on the surface, trust that movement is happening underneath. Seeds grow in silence before they break through the soil. Don't dig them up with doubt. Stay steady in your knowing. Music, the more you affirm the feeling of victory, the faster it solidifies into form. Your winning season isn't about arrogance or competition, it's about realization. It's about knowing that life has always been conspiring in your favor, even when you couldn't see it. Every closed door protected you. Every delay was divine timing. Every heartbreak was clearing space for something greater. Now that you understand this, you can move forward without fear. You don't have to force outcomes anymore. You simply align with them. Walk as if it's already done. Speak from the energy of gratitude, not music need. Let every action you take come from the certainty that things are working out perfectly because they are. The universe responds to your confidence, your faith, your unwavering inner vision, and that vision has matured into reality. This is your time to rise, your time, music, to receive, your time to shine. You've crossed a threshold into a new chapter where everything begins to click. The struggle has served its purpose, and now grace takes over. Where winning season has begun, and nothing can stop what's already in motion. Remain faithful, music, stay aligned, and watch as life crowns you with everything you once only imagined. You have now heard the truth that has been calling out to you all along. Nothing in your journey has been a mistake. Every detour, every delay, every moment of uncertainty was guiding you to this realization. You are the creator of your reality. You are not waiting for your time to come. Music, your time is now. You were led here by divine design, and everything you desire is already complete in the unseen, waiting for your recognition. The power has always been within you. The moment you choose to feel it is done, the universe bends to match your belief. You are not separate from your dreams. You are the very consciousness through which they manifest. The door to your new reality is open, and all you must do is walk through it with faith, with gratitude, and with certainty. So from this moment forward, stop questioning if you are ready. Music, you are. Stop wondering if it will happen. It already has. Live as the one who has already won, and the world will have no choice but to mirror that truth. Music, back to you. This is your confirmation, your awakening, your moment of power. Your winning season has begun, and your time to win everything is here. Thank you for listening. Music. And remember, the victory you seek is not coming to you. It's coming from you. There comes a moment in every person's journey, music, when the air feels heavy with change, when everything familiar begins to lose its shape, and something unseen whispers, "Be still, something, music is coming." This is that moment. Everything in your life is about to shift, but the question is, are you ready to receive it? You see, transformation never begins on the outside. It starts in the silent corridors of your mind. In those quiet moments when you dare to see yourself differently. You are not waiting for the world to change. The world is waiting for you to change your inner stance. Reality bends itself around the picture you hold inside. If you keep seeing yourself as limited, life will echo back limitation. But the moment you dare to feel yourself as abundant, as chosen, as powerful, life rearranges to fit that vibration. This shift that's coming is not random. You've been calling it in through your thoughts, your desires, music, your imaginal acts. Every time you said, "I know I meant for more," music, you sent a signal into the unseen. And now that unseen world is answering. Music. But remember this, before the new can rise, the old must crumble. You might lose things, people, habits, even comfort zones. Don't resist it. Music. That's not destruction. That's recreation. The old self cannot enter the new reality you've asked for, so stay ready. Stay ready in your mind. Stay ready, music, and your emotions. Stay ready in your imagination. Readiness doesn't mean waiting. Music. It means living now as if what you desire is already here. Walk with the quiet confidence that your next level has already been released. Speak as the person who already possesses the promise. You are not preparing to become. You are remembering who you already are. And when the shift comes, and it will come, it won't come slowly. It will happen in a moment like the turning of a page. One day you'll wake up and everything that once felt distant, music, will feel natural. You'll realize that nothing actually changed, only you did. Your world is the mirror, and you are the reflection, music. So breathe deeply, stand tall. Expect the miraculous. Music. Everything in your life is about to shift, and you are already in position to receive music. Everything that you see around you is not as solid and independent as it appears. Music. What you call reality is nothing more than the reflection of your inner state. Music, your thoughts, your beliefs, and the assumptions you persist in the world does not move first. You do. Every event, every opportunity, every person that enters your life is a mirror. Music, responding to the tone of your inner being. When you understand this, you stop trying to change the outer world by force and instead turn inward where the real power lives. If you want a new life, you must first become new inside. You cannot live in abundance while thinking from lack. Music. You cannot experience love while holding thoughts of rejection and fear. The outer world is a faithful servant. Music. It simply delivers what you continually impress upon your subconscious mind. Music. If you hold an image of yourself as successful, peaceful, confident, and capable, music. Even before any evidence appears, you will soon find the world arranging itself, music, to match that picture. The secret is this. Life does not respond to your words. It responds to your feeling state. Music. You can affirm prosperity all day long, but if deep within you feel poor or unworthy, that feeling will dominate. The law of life is always working. It listens not to what you say, but to what you believe to be true. This is why change begins only when you dare to shift your inner assumption about who you are. Most people try to fix the mirror instead of the face it reflects. Music. They struggle with circumstances, chase validation, and wrestle with conditions, not realizing that every outer struggle is just a shadow of an inward pattern. The moment you stop fighting appearances and begin to change the self-concept within, your world softens and begins to yield. The energy that once seemed resistant suddenly moves in your favor because you are no longer resisting yourself. To shift within means to live from the end, to feel now what you wish to experience, music later. It's to walk in the awareness that you already are the person you desire to become. It's to close your eyes and dwell in the feeling of your wish fulfilled, knowing that this inner reality must express itself, music, outwardly. Every great transformation begins invisibly. Like a seed buried in the soil, the new version of you must first take root in imagination before it can bloom in the physical world. When you persist in this inner knowing, music, when you refuse to let appearances convince you otherwise, the outer world has no choice but to catch up. It may appear as coincidence, luck, or divine timing. Music, but in truth, it is your consciousness made visible. The shift within is the only shift that matters. Music, for the world can only reflect what you are conscious of being. Change yourself in feeling and your life must change in form. Everything begins and ends within you. Imagination is not a daydream or a fleeting fantasy. Music, it is the creative power of life itself. Everything that exists in the physical world once lived in someone's imagination. Every invention, every building, every piece of art, every success story began as an unseen picture in the mind of its creator. Music, the unseen precedes the seen. What you vividly imagine, feel, and persist in believing becomes the world you eventually walk through. Your imagination is not secondary to reality. It is the blueprint from which reality is built. Music. When you imagine something with intensity and emotion, you are planting a seed in the fertile soil of your subconscious mind. The subconscious does not question whether your image is real or unreal. It simply accepts the feeling that accompanies it, music, and begins to reproduce that pattern in your outer life. Just as a seed grows in darkness before breaking through the soil, your imaginal acts grow unseen before revealing themselves as events, people, and circumstances. The law is simple but profound. Imagine it clearly, feel it deeply, persist in it, music faithfully, and it must come to pass. Most people use imagination destructively without even realizing it. Music. They rehearse fears, worries, and failures in their minds, and then wonder why life seems to echo those very experiences. Every mental picture you dwell upon is a silent command to your reality. Music. The universe does not distinguish between imagination and memory. It mirrors the emotional state you occupy. When you imagine disaster, you call it forth. When you imagine harmony, you invite it in. The power works the same way for all. Only its direction changes based on your focus. To use imagination wisely is to live deliberately. Music. It means you stop reacting to what is and begin creating what shall be. Close your eyes and see yourself already in possession of what you desire. Feel the joy, the relief, the gratitude as if it were happening now. Let the scene be vivid and alive. The more real it feels to you within, the faster it hardens into fact without. You are not pretending. You are remembering your potential into being. The imagination is not fantasy. It is reality waiting for form. When you persist in an imaginal act long enough, life begins to rearrange itself to make it real. People will appear, opportunities will unfold, and the impossible will start to feel inevitable. This is not magic. It is law. The outer world is compelled to mirror the state you occupy within yourself. Music, you cannot outwork a poor image, but you can effortlessly outpicture a powerful one. So guard your imagination as you would a sacred garden. Music, do not allow fear or doubt to plant weeds where beauty could grow. Every thought is a seed. Music, every feeling is water. Every belief is sunlight. What you choose to imagine today will determine the landscape of your tomorrow. The world you experience is simply your imagination made visible. Faith is the bridge between the invisible and the visible. It is the quiet conviction that what you have imagined, music, felt, and claimed within yourself will one day stand before you in tangible form. Faith does not rely on evidence. It creates music, evidence. It is not hoping, nor is it mere wishing. Music. It is the deep inner knowing that the unseen reality is already complete, and that your only task is to remain aligned with it until it takes shape. Without faith, music, imagination remains a dream. With faith, imagination, music becomes destiny. Every great manifestation requires this invisible bridge. There will always be a gap between the moment you imagine your desire and the moment it materializes. Faith is what carries you across that gap without falling into doubt or despair. It is the steady assurance that even when nothing seems to be happening, everything is happening beneath the surface. Like a seed planted in soil, the manifestation grows in silence, before it breaks through into sight. The impatient mind wants proof, but the wise heart knows that faith is proof. Music of things not yet seen. Faith begins as a choice, the decision to trust the unseen over the seen. Music. It is easy to believe when evidence appears, but true power lies in believing before it does. Music. When you hold fast to the end in your imagination, regardless of outer circumstances, music, you anchor yourself in the creative flow of life. The moment you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled and refuse to waver, you activate unseen forces that begin shaping your world accordingly. Faith is not passive. It is the most dynamic state of consciousness. Music there is. The testing ground of faith often comes in silence. There will be moments when nothing seems to change, when your mind whispers that it's all in vain. This is the moment where most give up. Yet, this is precisely when you must stand still and know. Faith is endurance in the unseen. It is the calm voice that says, though I see nothing, I know it is done. The world may call it foolishness, but every great transformation in history was once invisible. Faith keeps you connected to that invisible pattern until it reveals itself in time and space. To walk in faith means to live as though your desire were already yours. You speak from fulfillment, you think from completion, and you act from certainty. You stop waiting and start being. Life must respond to that inner conviction because it has no choice. Consciousness is causation. Music, the outer world will conform to the belief you sustain. Faith does not demand signs, it produces them. It does not beg for outcomes, it embodies them. When you truly believe, your vibration changes, your energy aligns, and the universe mirrors back the very thing you have accepted. Music, within. Faith is the unseen bridge that carries every dream from the world of imagination into the world of form. Without it, nothing lasts. With it, nothing is impossible. Every transformation requires a shedding. Music. You cannot step into a new version of yourself while clinging to the thoughts, emotions, and assumptions that shape the old one. Growth is not just about gaining something new. It is about releasing what no longer serves the life you are becoming. Old states of consciousness must die. So that new ones can live. Every time you evolve, an older self must be buried. This is not loss, it is renewal. The world you experience is molded entirely by the state of consciousness you occupy. A state is simply a habitual way of thinking and feeling, a pattern of belief about who you are and what life is. When you identify with limitation, you live in the state of limitation. When you identify with abundance, music, you live in the state of abundance. You do not attract according to what you want. You attract according to who you are. This means every new level of life demands a new identity, a higher mental frequency. The difficulty is that the mind resists death, music. The old state fights to survive because it has become familiar and safe. Even if it no longer brings joy, it whispers, "Stay where you are. It's too risky to change." Yet nothing new can be born in the comfort of old patterns. The person who constantly replays past hurts cannot experience true love. Music. The one who clings to scarcity thinking cannot receive abundance. The one who insists on control, music, cannot enter peace. Every miracle requires music, the surrender of an old mindset. To die to an old state is not to force it away, but to withdraw attention from it. Music. What you stop feeding with your focus loses power. When you cease to identify with the person who suffered, who failed, who doubted, that version of you dissolves naturally. Music. You don't destroy the old state by fighting it. You transcend it by choosing something higher. The moment you fully accept a new assumption, I am free, I am loved, I am successful. Music. You have already left the old state behind. This process, music, may feel uncomfortable, even painful at times. The ego mourns the loss of the familiar. Music. There may be moments of uncertainty as the old dissolves and the new has yet, music to appear. But just as night must fall before dawn, the death of the old self always precedes the birth of the new. Do not resist the in-between. It is sacred. The emptiness you feel is simply space being made for something, music, greater. When you finally release the old mental patterns, the doubts, the fears, music, the self-concepts that have kept you small, you will notice how effortlessly life begins to music flow. People change, opportunities appear, circumstances rearrange. The outer world cannot hold on to an identity that no longer exists within you. Every ending is a silent announcement of a new beginning. So, music, let the old state die with gratitude for it brought you this far. Now step forward into the new self that has been waiting for you all along. Readiness, music, is not about waiting for the perfect moment. It is about becoming the perfect vessel for what you desire. To be ready is not to anticipate something in the future, but to embody it in the present. Readiness is a state of consciousness, a calm, confident awareness that what you have asked for is already on its way. Music, and that you are prepared to receive it. Many people think they are waiting for opportunity, but music, in truth, opportunity is waiting for them to align. When you are mentally aligned, you have already decided within yourself that your desire is possible and already yours. There is no inner conflict, no debate, no hesitation. You no longer wonder if it will happen. You know it must. Mental readiness is a quiet certainty that removes the noise of doubt. It is the conviction that the unseen is as real as the seen. When your mind holds the steady image, life begins to move around it like iron to a magnet. You do not chase. You attract through clarity and certainty. Music, emotional readiness is just as vital. The emotions you consistently feel set the tone for what you experience. To be emotionally prepared means to dwell in the feeling of your wish fulfilled, to live in joy, gratitude, and calm expectancy even before evidence appears. Many delay their blessings because they are emotionally tied to lack, fear, or impatience. They want something new but still feel the energy of the old. Readiness requires emotional consistency. Music? You must feel now as you would feel when your desire is realized. That vibration is the signal that calls your new reality into being. And finally, true readiness means being open to receive. This openness is not passivity, but surrender. A release of control and a trust in divine timing. You stop dictating how your desire should come, and instead you allow life to surprise you. Openness means knowing that you are worthy of what you desire, that you do not have to earn it through struggle or effort. Music, the universe does not respond to need, it responds to alignment. When your heart is open, the flow of life can move freely through you. Readiness is not an act. It is a vibration. It is a deep sense of peace that says, I am ready now. This state collapses time because when you live from readiness, you are already in the energy of having. Things begin to show up almost effortlessly, music, because you are no longer pushing them away with doubt or fear. You are in harmony with what you have called forth. To stay ready is music. To live as though the shift has already occurred. Speak from fulfillment. Music. Think from completion. Walk as if life has already answered your prayer. When you do, the outer world has no choice but to mirror your inner readiness. The door opens not because you knock harder, but because you have become the one who belongs inside. Change does not always arrive with noise or warning. Often it unfolds in silence, invisible to the eye, yet undeniable in its power. The shift you have been preparing for, imagining and aligning with, does not build slowly in the outer world. It matures quietly within you, and then all at once everything rearranges. What seemed impossible becomes natural. What felt distant stands right before you, and what once required effort now flows with ease. Transformation does not come as a dramatic event. It comes as a realization that the world has finally caught up to who you have become inside. Music. The mind expects change to announce itself, for science to appear, for gradual progress to confirm movement. But true transformation is subtle. It happens in the unseen realm of consciousness. Every time you choose music, faith over fear, every time you persist in a higher assumption, every time you refuse to react to appearances, music, you are shifting. Though you may not notice it, each quiet choice reconfigures your inner world. And when the inner world reaches a certain tipping point, reality itself must adjust music to reflect it. The shift often happens when you least expect it. Not because it's random, but because resistance has finally dissolved. You have stopped grasping, stopped doubting, stopped checking for results. You have settled into the knowing that what is yours is inevitable. That state of surrender, peaceful, certain, detached, opens the door for change to rush in. It feels sudden only because you did not see the invisible work that had been unfolding all along. The seed had been growing roots in darkness long before it broke the soil. When the shift arrives, it does not require effort to maintain. Music. It feels natural, as though it had always been this way. You may even forget the struggle that came before because the new reality feels so familiar, so right. That is the sign of a true inner transformation. What once felt like a dream becomes your normal. Music, the miraculous, becomes ordinary. Life rearranges itself around the vibration you have sustained. This is why patience is sacred. Music, you do not force the shift, you prepare for it. Music, you keep your mind steady, your emotions calm, and your imagination fixed on the end you desire. You walk, music, by faith, not by sight. Even when nothing seems to be happening. Music, you trust that everything is moving beneath the surface. The transformation is already in motion. Music, even when the evidence is absent. Then one morning, something small changes. A phone call, a chance encounter, a sudden opportunity, and you realize the entire landscape of your life has shifted. Music, the waiting ends, the effort ceases, and you stand in the fulfillment of what you once only imagined. This is how all true change happens. Quietly, invisibly, and then music, all at once. So stay ready, stay faithful, and trust the unseen process. The shift you've been preparing for is closer than it appears. Everything in your life is aligning for a great transformation, one that begins not with effort, but with awareness. The moment you decide to shift within, the world has no choice but to mirror that new vibration. Every step you've taken in faith, every image you held in imagination, every belief you've nurtured has been preparing you for this very moment. You are not waiting for life to change. Life is waiting for you to remember your power. The old self has served its purpose. The new self is ready to emerge. Stay aligned, stay open, music, and stay faithful. For the unseen is already forming into the scene. When the shift happens, and it will feel sudden, music, effortless, and inevitable. The life you've been imagining is not on its way. It's already here, waiting for your recognition. Thank